So how can you test other fields? Input field is one of the field, right, in the web application. There are so many other fields also. How can you test that? So that is a decision table testing will help us. So there is a combination of inputs if you want to test. This decision table testing technique will help you. So basically different combination of inputs. So you want to see in the application how it is behaving. You can use this decision table testing. Just take an example of your e-commerce website, Amazon, right? Simple. I'm giving how you can apply decision table testing for the Amazon. I'm just showing here. Okay. See, I want to set a phone. Okay, iPhone. So I'm just setting iPhone. Okay. See, you got almost 751 results are there, right? 751 results are there. You are having all this, right? Different. So, right? All these are the different options you have. Okay. But can you see on the left side, so many options you have, right? So Yes, I'm back. Okay. So can you see here? I was explaining about this, right? There are many options. You have brand, price, deals, right? So these are different combinations we call this. How you can filter your data with a different combination of inputs. So previous one, boundary value analysis and equivalence class partitioning is only for input field. But here, different fields are there. Different combinations you have to choose. How you can choose different combinations. That is explained by this decision table testing. That's a main example for the decision table testing. Okay. And decision table testing will help you to test the logics, and you can find more bugs also, because more possible conditions you will write, more test cases you will write. So obviously the developers won't cover all of them. There you are having more chances of getting bugs. The main objective of tester is finding the bugs. That's the main intention you should have. Okay, you should have an intention, so finding the defects only. Always you should have intention to find the defects. Why decision table testing is, you can test different combination of inputs and different states, and whether the business rules are implemented or not, you can check it. And you can design test design techniques you can implement. And so while designing the test cases, this decision table is very helpful for you. So that means more test cases you can generate. So I have shown you, right, how we are generating with the boundary value analysis for one field. But here, if there are multiple fields are there, how you can generate the test? You have to take the combinations, permutations and combinations. So then it's easy for you to get the more test cases. And it provides a complex business rules to test your application. It will be good for both the testers and developers. And also, it is the best choice for covering all the requirement coverage. More coverage you get with this. And advantages of decision table testing is, so it will work iteratively, and also complex business flows can be tested easily. Different scenarios and techniques you will generate with this, and easy to generate the complex scenarios also with this technique. That's the main advantage of this decision table testing. So why to use this decision table testing is, so it will provide the tabular format. So based on the inputs and rules, so then you can generate the more test cases. For example, you take a login scenario. How many conditions we have? 1, 2 conditions we have. So these 2 conditions, see, 2 conditions you have, how many rules are generated? So basically, here are 4 test cases. If you test, that's good enough for the one login scenario. If you do extra test case, that's okay, but mostly these 4 are enough. How we will get 4 rules? 2 to the power of number of conditions. Here, how many conditions we have? Username, password, 2 conditions, right? 2 to the power of 2 means 4 rules. So this is how you will get 4 rules. So basically, a decision you have to take. Okay, if username is invalid, F means invalid. F means wrong username, wrong password. If you give rule 1, username invalid, password invalid, what is the output? You will get error page, right? And the username is valid and password is wrong. Again, you will get error page. Username is invalid, password is correct. You'll get again error page. Username is valid, password is valid. Then it will go to home page. So this is the how you can generate the test cases. So remember the formula. So how many test cases you can generate? What is the formula? 2 to the power of number of conditions. 2 to the power of number of conditions. Please make a note. I didn't put here, but that's how you can generate the more test cases. See, here I have given the cases. So they give one screen. How many conditions are there? Just check that. Based on the conditions, and you just put 2 to the power of that number of conditions. That many rules you will generate and give this. You will write like this: true, false, false, like that. So then, if it is both are false, you will get a error page. And you know already, right? True and false, false, false and true, false, false and false, false. So true and true, correct. You will get a true. That means it should go to correct page. So then next one is state transition. Any questions on this decision table testing before going for the state transition? Okay, no questions. I'll move on. State transition. Just take an example of so state transition is nothing but from one state to other state, how we will move. Move means a transition will happen. That's a state transition. There are finite states will be there. There are many states. Like you take a simple example of your ATM. When you insert a card, one state. So when you insert a card, it will go to next screen, next screen, next screen. Even in this Amazon website also, any web page, this is the one state. Before our inputting here, this is a different state. When you input and press enter key, that is a different state. That means a state is nothing but every page, moving the page. So that is the transition is happening. When you do action, an event, the transition will take place from one state to other states. So that is the this state transition testing. So let me give you in detail with a diagram so that you can get a better idea, right? So see this. So when you insert the card, you enter a way, it will wait for the pin. So you enter first attempt correct pin. So when you enter correct pin, where it will take? It will give the access to that account, right? So enter pin screen is different. This access to next account is different. This screen is different. This screen is different, right? Suppose you entered a wrong pin first time. It will ask for the second time, right? The state is different again. Again, second time if you enter OK, and you will get access. Suppose second time also you didn't enter correct pin. It will ask the third time. Third time you entered the correct pin, it will give you access to your account. Third time also you entered a incorrect pin, your card will be blocked, right? So this is the different states. This circles is the each state. When you insert a card is a action, right? When you are inserting a card means you're doing action. Action, if you do, what is happening? It is going to next state. So this is the state transition when you perform the actions on particular state. That's called state transition testing. How you are moving from one state to other state is called state transition testing. So that's it all about this. And the last one is there. Okay. So last one is, see here all the cases I have given. Last testing technique, black box testing technique is error guessing. So error guessing is a formal technique. Basically, based on your previous testing applications experience is used in the current application testing. So previous experience you will use to find out the bugs, where the bugs are there. You can easily guess them. That's guess, error guessing. See, meaning itself, you are guessing the error based on your previous testing experience. That is called error guessing. The only testers who has already tested, and those people can guess the errors, and maybe you got a error in particular input. Same input you can try in your current application also. That's your guessing with that input, whether the error is coming or not, whether the defects are coming or not, with that input data. That is called error guessing. So these are the very basic 5 techniques of black box testing. What are the black box testing techniques? Equivalence class partitioning, boundary value analysis, and decision table testing, state transition testing, error guessing. First 2 are only for input field, but decision table testing is a combination of inputs are there like this. So practically I'm showing here. This is the combination of inputs. For example, I want to select a Apple phone. This is the one combination you are selecting. See, now results are changed to 91. So when you select multiple combinations, I want 256 GB. See how many now? 47. So the filters, based on the filters, the combination of input, you are just adding and the brand and internal memory, like that you are adding the and operators. The complexity you are adding, the combination of input you are taking, then obviously the results will vary. Okay, so this is how you can test it. Different combination of inputs, know how your application works, how it is returning the results. We'll take decision table testing. So state transition is, if you do action on one page, it will move to other page. If you do action that stays another action, it will move to others. That transition will happen page to page. That is called state transition. Just the best example is ATM, or so your application moving from one page to other pages is the best example. Buying a product, right? So when first you will set, then you will add that to cart. Then you are doing action in between everywhere. The action will do the transition from one page to other page. That's the state transition testing. Okay. Any questions on this? Otherwise, I'll move on to white box testing. What is white box? So white box testing completely based on the internal code or logic of the application. So you're not bothered about the UI. You'll just bothered about the internally how code works. That's your main goal in the white box testing. So test based on the code statement, branches, paths, and conditions, all code related, if else conditions, loops, all this is statements. So how it works, that you will focus on the white box testing. So white box testing also called structural testing or glass box testing, because completely it will focus on the what is happening inside the box, not outside. Outside a box you will see black box testing. So this is the one, right? This is all outside. This is all outside. You're seeing externally. This is the black box testing. But internally, how code works, that is focused by this one, the white box testing. So for this, you should have a knowledge and some programming language to do this white box testing. White box testing is nothing but a automation testing. Okay. So black box testing is nothing but a manual testing. So So don't worry about this, not so much, but just try to understand. I'm giving a small examples also. A car mechanic should know the internal structure of the car engine to repair it. Otherwise, he's not a mechanic, right? If he doesn't know. Since the car is the AUT application under test, the user is the black box tester, and the mechanic is the white box tester. See how clearly I'm explaining here. So please understand that, okay? So why do we need white box testing? So that all independent paths within the model have been exercised at least once with this white box testing. All logical decisions verified on their true or false values with this white box testing. All loops executed at their boundary values within their operational bounds, internal data structure validity, you can do with this white box testing. So, and the need is mainly logical errors you can find out in the design. That's one main advantage. And another one is design errors due to difference between logical flow of the program and actual implementation. You can find out with this white box testing. So any typographical errors and syntax checking you can check with this white box testing technique. So the skills required for this is, as I mentioned, you should have one programming knowledge and logic, how to implement the logic you should have. Then only you can perform the white box testing. Otherwise, it is not possible. Okay. So these are some of the techniques of white box testing techniques: basis path testing or structure testing. So it is one of the white box testing technique. So it mainly focuses on the control flow graphs of a program to find a set of linear independent paths. So how the flow is going, how the execution is happening, and you can find out. Let me show you in our blog. I have given the condition statements, right? The control structures, if you understand, there we have the flow, how it is executing. So let me show you control structures. That's all the control flow diagrams. This one you can see. Can you see this? See, when the condition is true, this path. When condition is false, this path. This is the flow, the control flow diagrams. That's what I was talking here. The method analyzes the control flow graph of program to find a set of linearly independent paths of the execution. How paths are executing. So that will be checked by this structured or basis path testing. Statement coverage. Statement coverage is another technique. So in the program, how many lines of code, number of statements exercised, executed by total number of statements in the application. That is statement coverage. So decision coverage and decision testing is nothing but basically you have a if condition, for loop, while loop, all this, right? How this is moving based on the condition. So that you will check in the decisions, how many decisions you are covering. So that will be checked here by decision coverage, number of decision outcomes exercised, tested, while loop, do while loop, for loop, how many you covered them. The code already, the developer has written a code. That code you are testing. Internally you are testing, you're not externally. So that how many you covered the developer's code. If there are, for example, 10 decisions are there, how many you covered the 10 decisions? By total number of decisions into 100, if you do, you'll get the decision coverage. So path coverage is another one. So it is just another white box testing technique. So what are all the possible paths of software application? So it will be find out with this by creating a graphical diagrams of the code flow, and you will follow the each possible paths through every decision point. So the every decision point means this one. If decision is false, how many? This path. If decision is true, this path. So how it is going? So same, that is what this path testing, you can see that. So let me show you one more. See here. So if the condition is true, the code inside if block will execute. If condition is false, code inside the else block will execute. So then it will exit here, this path. So this is the one path, this is another path, and how the code is executing. This all will be clearly explained in the white box testing. You need to understand this first, how it is executing. Okay, again, see this is also. See, if condition is true, this. If condition is false, it will go to next condition, like that. N number of conditions will be checked. So this is all graphical flow you will test this white box testing technique. So this is the all automation testing. So you are creating and going to test the application code, developer code you will test. So without UI, you don't need any UI. Without UI, you can test with the programming knowledge. So then, okay, you're writing a automation test cases. How do you know you covered the developer's code? How do you know you tested all the developer's code? So that is called code coverage. So code coverage is a metric that can help you to understand how much of your source code is tested. It's very useful metric that can help you assess the quality of your test cases. We'll see here how you can get started with your projects. So what is code coverage? How it is calculated? So code coverage tools are there. You don't need to worry about that. You write your automation test case, and the code coverage tools will tell you how many of the functions defined have been exercised by your automation test case, how many statements you covered so in your execution, how many branches you covered. So that will be checked in this code coverage tool. Conditions, how many conditions, Boolean sub expressions have been tested for a true and false values, how many lines of code is tested. All this report will be given to you. So like this, let me show you. You will get like this. See, statements 83%, branches 50%, functions 100%, lines 83%. So like this, you will get a clear report. So based on the programming language, there are tools are available that will be included in the code. You don't need to bother about. All this is done by the DevOps team or your development team. But only your job is writing the automation test cases. Okay, so that's this white box testing technique. Other than this is the Java. You have a Cobertura, Jacoco is the tools. For JavaScript, we have in Istanbul, blanket.js, PHP unit, Python, coverage.py, Ruby, simple cow. So these are the different code coverage tools. So still different tools are there. Okay, so based on the which tool you are using, all will give you the same report. How many lines of code you tested, how many functions you covered, how many decision points you covered. That will be given by this code coverage tools. So if anything is missing, so then that based on the report, you need to improve your test cases. You need to write more test cases again. That's what it will happen in the real time. And also, how much percentage of coverage you should target. So maximum 80% of code coverage is important. So your company will decide. So your team will tell, okay, I want 80% code coverage. 20% is fine. Maybe some are not possible with automation. You can ignore them. You can test them manually. But 80% of the scenarios, if you cover, that's good enough for us. Okay, that's the code coverage, how you can calculate. This is how you see, if you cover, it will be in green color. If not covered, it will be red color. You will like that. This is how you will get the report. So that means this statement, the red color one, right? This is not executed. The red color one is not executed. That means your test case is not going in this line, in these lines, red color lines. that you have to write the test case for to go to that line also. So that's the code coverage. Okay, is it clear? So what is the difference between black box testing and white box testing? The main objective of black box testing is you will test the functionality and behavior of the application. The main objective of white box testing is to test the code, internal code. So a black box testing can be performed by a tester without any coding knowledge of the application. And a white box testing, if you want to perform, testers should have a knowledge of internal structure and programming knowledge. Black box testing can be performed only using GUI, graphical user interface. That means UI. So in the UI you are seeing, right, that you can test it. So white box testing can be done eagerly at early stage before code is get ready. So even application is just completed coding and you can immediately start it. Even UI is not ready, also fine. You can test it. That is white box testing. This test, black box testing cannot cover all possible inputs, but white box testing can cover more test coverage. Some testing techniques include boundary value analysis, equivalence class partitioning, error guessing. You can use to test this. And white box testing techniques are like data flow testing, loop testing, statement coverage. All this you can use for testing that. So black box testing test case should be written based on the functional requirement specification document. Test case should be written based on the detailed design document. Okay, so that's the how you can do the test cases. So some of them you list out, not necessarily all of them. Okay, a lot of things I have given, but forget about that. And Greybox testing. What is Greybox testing? So it's a combination of black box and white box. Both the skills, if you have, then you are called a Greybox testers. That means manual testing and automation testing knowledge. Who is having such kind of person is called Greybox testers. These are the three types of testing techniques, right? So any questions? I'll just stop this recording.